You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At that time, they was only, and that was a division then. Who made a division then? The Jews were golden looking people, tan looking people. The Romans was what kind of people?
They were white.
They were Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
It's always the devil. Let's get back to this Bible. See how the Holy Spirit brought it back. He brought it back here. And what are we talking about? We're talking about opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Now watch this. So in verse 4, the Bible said, "And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. But she said that if we touch it, we eat it, we will die." This was the first sermon preached by the devil to mankind. The secret society, the synagogues of Satan, was set up then. What is a synagogue? What is a synagogue?
Synagogue like a church or organization.
It's an organization or a temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was the temple that the devil was using right there? Think about it. What was the temple? Let's look on the spiritual level.
Okay.
On the spiritual level here, the serpent.
Oh, okay.
Was the temple and synagogues of Satan.
Okay.
But who was the crowning act in the then known world? Adam and Eve, humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man was the crowning act over God's creation.
Mm-hmm.
So they were the world. Adam and Eve was the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did he create opponents and took control over Adam, who's supposed to have been the crowning act of God's creation? He had dominion. God created all things and gave Adam dominion over all his creation. He was a king. He was a king. He was a king. Do you understand? What was Lucifer trying to bring in? Or what he brought in? He brought in a new world order. Because the order of the world, Eve said it right there in verse 2. You shall not, verse 3, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. The order of the world was obedience and love. Satan brought in, through the synagogue of Satan, the temple is the synagogue of Satan. The temple was the serpent. That is exactly why when it comes down to occultism, you always see a what? A serpent. Because the serpent was the first synagogue, the first temple that Satan operated in. Satan was the high priest of that temple. Mm-hmm. This is why every time when you see something dealing with occultism, it's got something to do with a flying serpent. Mm-hmm. I remember I was watching the Michelsons. And I wanted to do a chronicle on that. And maybe one day I would do a chronicle on the Michelsons.
Was that a show or something?
It was the vampires and the wolves. The Michelsons was the first vampires. When they did, you may need to show some things.
Oh, the Underworld.
Not Underworld. But it was called Vampire Diary. It was Vampire Diary. Then it kind of sprung off into the Michelson because everybody, all of a sudden, it was about these young vampires.
Yeah.
And then these older vampires came into play, and they got so much recognition in this like
Klaus and all them cats.
Klaus and all them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right. So it's just like Power, like, you know. Because old boy was, what was his name? Tommy. Because Tommy was just just off the chain. Mm-hmm. They just gonna sprung out and make something about Tommy. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying?
Spinoff.
A spinoff about Tommy. So basically, that's what happened to Vampire Diaries. It sprung off to the Michelson. Towards the end, watch this. Towards the end of the Michelson, Klaus and his brother, I forgot his brother name, but he's like this powerful vampire. Klaus was a hybrid. They sacrificed their lives to save, because vampires can't have babies, but wolves can. Mm-hmm. My Klaus had a baby by a wolf, a baby wolf girl. I forgot the name. But he had the baby by her. His wolf side had the baby, but yet she was a witch because she threw the baby. She was a witch. She was a hybrid. She was everything. But there was a power, a witch, from the beginning of time, so powerful that the Indians killed her, split her bones all over the world, and if it was to come back together, this power will come back together and be so strong, and it was blue. The power represents a blue. It was blue.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order to sustain, you had these powerful vampires, and Klaus was, quote unquote, immortal. It doesn't make sense because he can't die, but the only thing could actually kill them was a white oak tree, and the white oak tree was what was it? There's a symbolism with that too, because witches use that to do rituals and whatever. But anyway, this vampire and wolf thing, they really believe this. They really believe that man is reptilian and he can transform into whatever he wants. So anyway, this powerful witch was like the first witch ever. And from the beginning of time. And in order for this powerful entity to come together, you had to get all his bones and put it together, and the witches come into the world.
Okay.
So she wasn't into the world. Watch this. She wasn't in the world yet. She had to use a host to come. The host was used, and the host's eyes would turn blue. That represent that she controlling the host, but she couldn't come into the world as a body unless all her skeletons and bones came together. So finally, in order for them to subdue, they couldn't kill it, but they could subdue it, and they took all the power in each one of them. They was more immortals, so they had to separate from the little child. So if they was to come together, then and be close to the little child, everything will become darkness. Flowers and stuff will start shriveling up and everything. But in order for Klaus and what was his name, man, the vampire guy, his close brother, it was Klaus and hold on, I'm gonna look it up right here.
Okay.
I got to get this right. Let me see the microsins. The microsins. The microsins. The microsins, vampires. Okay.
The originals.
Yeah, that's what it is. The originals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the originals. Cole Klaus, and what was his name? What was his name? What was the brother, man? Klaus. Everybody know Klaus because he was like
He was the
he was the one, but his brother
Marcel.
No,
Francis'
Marcel was
former protege Marcel.
no. Marcel he became more powerful than all of them. Let me see.
Okay,
Klaus'
brother Elijah.
Michael was Freya was Michael and Esther's friend. Yeah. No, Michael was the father vampire who was trying to kill them all.
Okay.
Elijah. That was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah. Now watch this. So Elijah and Klaus was a sacrifice to destroy that power. Okay? But on the contrary, this power was so strong. And watch this. The symbol of that power was a coiled snake. Like, you ever seen that coiled snake? It's like the snake head and like the tail is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a universal.
Mm-hmm.
All that represents stuff, a universal.
Like that medical symbol.
Right. It's like a universal thing. Like It represents a whole lot of stuff, and I want to get into that, and I got to get back into that to understand it, because I think I've read it somewhere what it represents. But it's like a never-ending thing there, what that snake represents. But it's a flying serpent. But that power represents that flying serpent. You get what I'm saying? And that flying serpent, everything that's dealing with occultism or division, a serpent is there. This serpent, Satan knows you can find that serpent in the Garden of Eden. You can find that serpent in Genesis. You can find that serpent throughout the Bible. The dragon is none other than a flying serpent. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's what the dragon is. So she, right then when she bit of the fruit, for God do it. And one thing that we fail to realize is that, watch this. Let's continue. Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, you shall not surely die. Right?
Right.
Watch this. For God do know that in that day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. There it is. That's when the secret society was created. It was born right then. When Eve believed that, when Adam fell to it, we all fell in the chromosome. In his chromosome was already a secret society, a power who Satan can use, the seed of Satan. The seed of Satan became Adam and Eve. Through their fallen nature, Satan was able, through a chemist, he's a chemist, he was able to create the secret society. Mm-hmm. Cain conspired against his brother and secretly killed his brother. There it is. There go the secret society. Cain conspired against his brother and came up against his brother and killed him. Is that an opponent?
Oh, it's an opponent.
Okay, now watch this. And why would you kill a man? Why would you kill a man? Is it because of his color? Because of the melanin in his skin? Because of the pigment in his skin? No, you feel superior above that man. That man, not just because of his color, it's because you feel like you the superior race. Any man that enslaves another man is because he feel like he's the superior race. He feel like this person is an opponent and he ought to be crushed. And watch this. The opponent came here. So the Bible said here in verse 5, for God do know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. Right? Secret society. Verse 6, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. One writer said that when she took of the fruit, that means she took it from the serpent's hand. That's what one writer said. The writer took the fruit because she was already convinced, but yet afraid. This is how the secret society comes to a lot of people. They're afraid to partake of it, but he will put it in your hands to see, you didn't die. Mm-hmm. And did you? Mm-hmm. No, I didn't. Then if you didn't die, remember Christ said, God said, if you bite, if you partake, if you take it, you die. Are you dead? Mm-hmm. She was already dead spiritually. Mm-hmm. It was just going through the motion. Mm-hmm. She bit it, and they gave it to her husband. He saw it. He wasn't deceived. He bit it. He ate it. And afterwards, they became rivals. Watch this. They became rivals. The man became a rival against God. It was the woman you gave me. She, the woman you created. Yeah. You created. Yeah. Blaming God.
Trying to gaslight God.
Right. Gaslighting God. Mm-hmm. Gaslighting. Blaming God. Blaming the woman. And the woman did the same thing. Blaming the serpent. Mm-hmm. But they all was cursed. Mm-hmm. Everything you see now is under curse. Because people separated from God. They separate. You don't hear nobody praying. You don't see nothing. You see violence. You see people deceived thinking it's all about racists. But it's all about the division of opponents that was done in this earth to keep the people divided. Mm-hmm. So Satan can conquer. Mm-hmm. It's all about an opponent. It's not about racism, because if it was racism, then the synagogues of Satan is not just made up of white people. It's made up of black.
Yeah.
It's made up of all colors.
Right. Right.
It's not about a race to the synagogues of Satan.
It's about the agenda.
It's about the agenda. It's about them obeying the devil, so they can destroy everything that's pertaining to the Creator God out of the hearts of people, so Satan can come in and they worship him, receive the mark of the beast, so they all can die with him. Revelations 20. Watch this. Revelation 21, it says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon and the old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan and bound him 1,000 years." That's the millennium. That's another subject. "And cast him into a bottomless pit and shut him up, and it set a seal upon him, that he should not deceive the nations." What?
No more.
Deceive the what?
Nations.
Nations. Is it nation?
Nah, nations.
Nations.
Cool.
What are we seeing now? London is London.
All nations.
Surrounding nations is intervening in this. Watch this. "That he will not deceive nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be lose a little season." Watch this. Let's go down. It says, finding the judgment taking place. Look at verse 9. "And they went on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and the fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them." Watch this. "The devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast, the false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever." Now watch this. Satan knows his future. So what he's trying to do is bring down everybody with him through deception. Remember what the Bible said: "Be not deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, he shall reap."
He shall reap.
So the components, and they keep you divided by football, basketball, martial arts, sports that's beating down people, opponents. It's always something that entertain people. You know why? You can't be entertained by that if you are not an opponent against something. Some people want to make this money, want to make people see that they're balling, want to make people see that they're doing their thing, want to do this. They opponents. You get what I'm saying? And so when it came down to black and white opponents, they keeping black and white opponents. And people say, well, and if it was, watch this, if it was a black and white thing, then why is it that other people that's even dark colors, brown, tan, whatever, they hate each other? Puerto Ricans hate Dominicans. Other Russians, some Russians hate other Russians. Some Mexicans hate other Mexicans. And that's how it is. It's all about opponents and keeping the people deceived, separate. Adam and Eve was most strong when they was with God and they was one. The children of Israel, God created a nation from one man because he wanted them to be one. Christians are supposed to be one. Nations supposed to be one. But the synagogues of Satan know that when you one, who's his order here? God is. So
as long
create
as
opponents.
As long as we stay in racism, we become more atheists we'll become more atheists because we get away from God. If I look at you and I say, yo, you black man, or whatever derogatory word that you want to use for a black man, the more I have that mentality, I can't see the beauty of God in your humanity.
I was looking at some Hebrew Israelites, and they had this white woman kissing their feet, and it was standing on top of that. What is the difference between white supremacy and that?
None.
Because didn't the black man kiss the feet of the white man? Why are you doing that? Talking about this is how God going to do it. No, God did not do that. That's not what God going to do. You Hebrew Israelites, so you claim you believe in the Old Testament. That never happened.
I don't guarantee she was from the synagogue of Satan, too.
Yeah, she was hired on.
Yeah, there ain't no way. I don't see no random white woman walking down the street and do that. Nah, bro, I don't see that, bro.
But you know why they did the white woman?
What?
Boy, that's a message right there.
To the white
Oh,
man.
yes.
Facts. Facts.
Yep.
Facts.
And don't watch this. Also, there's always actors everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even in slavery, there was actors. There was actors to keep people in control. Listen, MK Ultra have always been here. There was always actors. There was handlers. Whether they're handlers are in the government or handlers in the field as slaves, there was always handlers. Always handlers. Because among the secret side, you got ranks. And you got those that are soldiers, those that are generals, military. We seen that with Albert Pike. Now, Albert Pike was all over the world as a general, as a soldier, whatever. He was doing his thing in his time. But in all levels of ranks, there are agents, just like with these riots. There's always agents. What did you read about that French Revolution?
What did I read about it?
About the riots?
That there was people that was the synagogues of Satan were actually in the riots during the French Revolution to spark the war. So they was in there to cause. They was in the streets of France, busting out windows, setting things ablaze. It wasn't the people; it was those working for the devil that was in.
Nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Nothing new.
Just new players on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
This is a stage, man.
Yeah. And we got to be on the right side, buddy.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, y'all, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for watching. We hope this was enlightening. I don't know how this going to work. I may upload the whole thing, but if it's split, part 2, keep your notifications going. Pastor Hinton and myself, we thank you for watching. Peace, love, and God bless.
Amen. Peace.